All right, it has been such a privilege to be with you all over the last 2 days. I already can't wait for the next 2.5. It's been one thing to look at the prayer diary and email you all, be on the phone with you, but it's another thing to put your personalities with your name and your face, and it has been such a delight. Whether I'm in the elevator, whether I am having dinner with you all, it has been such a privilege, and I speak on behalf of all of my colleagues. This is such a joy. And you all are the ones who give us passion for our jobs, because we can wake up in the morning and have passion going because we are a small part of fulfilling the Great Commission through you. So we thank you so much for the privilege of serving you. It's been an absolute pleasure. I have the privilege today to talk to you about something that GOM staff is super passionate about, and that is the services that we provide to you as our missionaries. For those of you I haven't met in person yet, and by the way, please come up and introduce yourself if we haven't met yet. But I am Melissa Vandermeer, and I am the Director of Communications and Administrative Services. So Jesse and I got here around the same time. It's been just over 2.5 years. It's been an absolute delight to serve you, and communication is so vital to how the world works. It's not a surprise. But I will tell you that we want excellent communication with you all. And even almost more so, we want you to be excellent communicators to your supporters. And so we like to provide you services that will enhance and strengthen that communication with them. So I want to kind of just dive in. I will be splitting the session with Greg Constable, our VP of Personnel. But I'm going to talk about the communication side of it and administration side of it, and then he's going to cover the rest. All right. So, again, Jesse said yesterday, a lot of this will be review for you because you've been with us for quite a while. But what I'm hoping is that you will get some glimpses of maybe tips or some new information somewhere along the way. So hang in tight with us, and I hope that you find this very helpful for you. So newsletter options, you have 4. The first 3 is basically you give us your photos, you give us your content, and we design it, we format it, we edit it, and we actually just put it through production and get it to your supporters. And then the 4th one is, I think my letter's pretty swell. I just want to make sure that there's no major errors, and so if you would approve that, that would be awesome, which we're happy to do as well. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the pros of a printed newsletter. And right now, there are quite a number of them, but we maintain equipment to make sure that you're getting the best cost and the best postal rate for the quantity you're sending out to your supporters. We also make sure that your mailing lists are up to date. Dennis will be talking to you about Virtuous in the next session, and I encourage you to go and attend. It's very helpful for you. But we do update your mailing lists. You're out on the field. You're busy in service, and if Sue moves from California to New York and doesn't tell you, you're not going to know, right? So we are staying on top of it at home office, and so whenever we get returned mail, Tammy Campbell, whose birthday was yesterday, that stood up, she's the one who actually edits all of those, and she's very faithful with it. And we also get COA reports from our post office, change of address, and so we're constantly in Virtuous making sure that those addresses are the correct ones because we want your mail to get to your supporters. We also put in response cards and individual newsletters, so it's just that extra step for your supporters to say, oh, maybe I could give, and maybe I'm giving by EFT, but it's that extra little push that says, maybe I should consider giving them another gift this month. So that is very helpful, we've found. A comment I've heard recently that kind of gets me a little concerned, and I wanted to raise the issue, was the fact a lot of people think direct mail is going out and email is in. And I have to tell you that couldn't be more wrong. The 2 printing houses I work with, they say that their businesses are doing better than ever before. And their dad, their grandfather, they were all in that business, and they say right now it is so incredible because they realize to get paper into somebody's hand is really valuable right now. So don't think, okay, email is cheaper, I can save on postage. Really, it is worth every penny that you spend. You think about it, you miss your mail for say 7 days, and you come back and look in your post box and you see maybe 10 to 15 pieces of mail, right? You miss your email for 7 days and you got 200, right? So the thing is, a lot of times when you're so busy, it's so easy to switch, your emails into certain folders. I'll get to it later, I'll get to it later. But what I encourage you is with actual direct mail, you think about it, beats any statistic is that mail lingers, it hangs around. So you take it from your post box and you put it on the counter, oh, you're busy, so you move it and shuffle it around, but you're eventually going to get to it and you're eventually going to open it. So know that in so many ways, direct mail is great. They say 80 to 90% of direct mail gets opened, and 20 to 30% of emails get opened. Now, I have to say, our response rates for email are way higher for GOM because your supporters actually have a personal connection with you and they want to know what's going on. But I really want to reinforce with my big gold arrow that you choose both because it reinforces your story and it gives your supporters multiple opportunities to support you. Approve your letter only. That's perfectly fine with us. I just have a few reminders for you. And the first one is if you send your communications yourself, it still needs to go through our approval process. So sometimes you have affiliation with a recognized and credible agency, which would be Global Outreach Mission. And legally, we are responsible to put a logo on it. We're responsible for our ECFA logo, which helps your donors know that we are financially responsible. And as silly as it sounds, some of you forget to put your contact information on it, right? Or we need to put our contact information on it. So what we want to do is we want to check and just make sure that your letter is the best that it can be. So the second reminder I want to give you if you're doing Approve My Letter Only is to make sure that we're on your final communication. So gom@missiongo.org, just make sure that we're receiving your final one. We obviously love to see how often you're communicating to your donors, but that's not really the main reason. The main reason is we have to defend you and we're your advocates. And churches, I cannot begin, Dustin's shaking his head, I cannot begin to tell you, we have had quite a few churches this year call us and say, we hate to inform you, but we're doing some cuts and we need to know what missionaries we need to keep, etc. And so when we get that information, we are right on it. And we write paragraphs, we write emails, and we say, you should keep these people because their ministry is so productive and so successful, and they love the Lord. And the way that we can tell them what's going on is when you tell us what's going on. So the better informed we are, the easier it is to answer those emails, the quicker response we can get back to your churches. Pat answers the phone and she gets a lot of questions just from donors going, oh, I heard someone had a baby. And we're like, oh, really? That's good to know, But we always, of course, act, oh, of course we knew that. But please make sure that you tell us these things. And if you're getting married, we need to know these things. So, it's good for us to know. So I just want to remind you, and this is just kind of fun, but behind that submit button, remember that you have a whole staff that cares about your success. And the 5 people that work on these newsletters, combined experience is 87 years at Global. So we know what we're doing and we want to help you. So we review for culture, content, tone, grammar, spelling, punctuation. I could edit all day long, so they have to tell me, okay, Melissa, stop editing, it can't be perfect. But we also, a lot of times B or Pat comes to me and says, the tone of this letter seems to have a little negative cloud. And, we're having burnout session, right, next session. And sometimes we can tell that you're tired out on the field. And we know that you don't want to come across that way to your supporters. So we're able just to come and say, hey, maybe you should tweak this paragraph. And we've never gotten bad feedback. You all are like, thank you so much. I was having a bad day. So just let us know. We're more than happy to help you with that. Okay. Next one. This is kind of a subset under newsletters, but this is digital banners. So we have a team member, Elena Phipps. She is excellent with design. She loves it as well. She's very good on all the programs and all the updates and everything. And so digital banners are excellent to, sorry if my hair is doing that. Sorry, I apologize. Digital banners are excellent because you are an individual, yes, but you also have a ministry. And it's very good in a way to brand yourself and make your look consistent. So we can put this banner on your hard copies. We can put it on your email. You could actually probably use it for your Facebook cover photo. But it just helps your supporters. For instance, say a spouse just opens it and puts it on the counter, right? The rest of the family, if they walk by, they know exactly what that letter is. They're not wasting time going, who sent us this letter and what's going on? So when you have that, your donors' eyes will go immediately to the pictures and they will go immediately to the content. And you know this is a busy world and your supporters love and care about you, but it's going to take them probably a minute to sit down and actually read your entire letter. So make it easy for them to know who the letter is coming from. This is an excellent way to brand. I will tell you, in the corner, you see there's a Merry Christmas one, and Elena tells me all the time, please tell the missionaries I'm happy to create them a Christmas banner. So if you're doing the same banner 11 months out of the year, but you want that special banner that just kind of spices it up a little bit, we can do that for you. I was thinking recently about the Fukushans, actually, and they have, their kids have a music ministry, and it's a phenomenal one. The results are just so wonderful. And so if they ever came to Elena and said, hey, can I have an Easter banner? That would be something we could absolutely do. So just keep that in mind. It's a good service to know about. All right, prayer cards. You all have been through that process before, all right? But I do want to kind of tell you something fun about prayer cards. So about 2.5 years ago, Greg, the Stoffers, Sarah Spear, the Dodsons, and I went down to Kentucky for a medical missions conference. I'm telling you, it's been one of the highlights being here. It is phenomenal because you get to connect with all these young people passionate about the Lord, passionate about medical missions and how they can use their talents. And so I was in my glory because, of course, you have all this marketing everywhere, right? So I'm picking up everything, and I practically had a bag full of all this stuff. But what I found was most important to me to express to you is one of the biggest marketing trends I've realized is that prayer cards are now starting to have magnetic backs to them. You think about it, right? You slip it in your Bible, that's great. But sometimes you want to put it on your refrigerator, so you have to have magnets. And I'm one of those minimalists, right? And I don't want a lot on my refrigerator. But if you have a magnet, it looks crisp, it looks clean. And so I actually called my printer and I said, how does this work? Is it more expensive? And when he gave me the figures, and I'm more than happy, if you're interested in that, please email me and I can get you estimates and tell me what quantity you're looking for. But he said it is actually a bigger thing nowadays in the missions where they want a magnetic back. And it's actually not that bad. It does drive up the cost just a little bit, but when you're talking a quantity of 500, it hardly matters. So just know that that's an option to you. I think that's pretty amazing. Additional requests. This is a fun one. So say you have all these really cool ideas and you say, oh, Melissa, I'm out on the field. The last thing I can do is design something and figure out what printing house to use. If you have an out-of-the-box idea, just call me or email me and say, I've been thinking about this. And I can call my local printer and I can say, all right, so this is the idea. Is this even a possibility? What are we looking at here? This is their quantity, etc. And I'll give you an example. I don't necessarily recommend this for everyone, but for the ministries that have maybe a name to go along with it, like Don and Karen Stoffer, you met them all on the Canadian Bible Hour interview, but they have that all may see. It's kind of a tagline to their ministry. You have Joe Harvey and it's Pioneer Christian Hospital. A lot of times you may be networking and it's kind of hard to, carry around 4x6 cards, a prayer card, and go, oh yeah, if you want to know more about my ministry, because you're asking, here's the big card. And they're like with their sports coat or small person, they're like, oh, well, thank you. Sometimes you might want a business card. So just let me know and we can work that out. They're more than happy to do that for you. And I want to also let you know, our local printer is an actual personal supporter of GOM. He loves you guys, and I mean that. He called me up the other day and he said, okay, I just did a prayer card for this missionary. He goes, can you tell me more about them? Because I haven't heard about them for a while. And I said, you can't manufacture that. Okay, you're not going to get that from some random printing house. So he's actually coming on Thursday night. He's passionate. And I called a meeting with him about 3 months ago, and he leaned over to my desk and he said, Melissa, I want to tell you something. He said, I want every penny possible to go to the actual project, not the printing. And that sounds really amazing to me, and that's going to be really hard for me to forget because he cares about you all. And so I want to just let you know what estimates you're getting for your special project. Just know that those are going to be good prices and the best that they can possibly be. Okay, so this is a fun one. Maximize your website profile page. So, I'm not trying to give you homework, okay, this is supposed to be relaxing and refreshing, but I would love if you guys would just spend 5 minutes and go on the website. We obviously have a major website, missiongo.org, but each of you, depending on your security status, which none of you jumped out of the picture yesterday, so don't tell me you're high security, you have this page, okay, and I use Margaret Mooney, and so right here in the center it says she has a blog, so when you click the button it takes you right to her blog. Other missionaries have like sign up for your email updates or view our brochure. If you have a video that you love for your ministry, let us know about it, because we can add buttons. So, we have some missionaries who have like 4 or 5 buttons because they've really maximized their profile page. So I want to remind you that try to make it the best you can make it. Your website should point readers to your social networks where they can interact with the community that you've created. So for instance, say you're on Facebook or you're on Instagram, we can actually put those symbols and those logos on your page so that people can say, oh wow, they're on social media, they've got this and this and this. Really, what I would love for each and every one of you is when you go to your profile page, you have your entire community right there, and everything I'd ever want to know about you is on your page. So just take some time and kind of critique yourself and say, what could I add? What maybe could I create? Maybe a brochure to kind of put on there, and I think that may be very helpful for you. All right, maximize your social media bio. So this is still with the branding in mind, but you can see Chastity Cadabera. She has on her information page, so obviously you have your profile picture, right, on Facebook, and underneath that you have your bio. There's a little pen or pencil, and that's your edit button, and you can edit stuff, and you can kind of say, okay, this is who I am right off the bat. So Chastity has put missionary at Global Outreach Mission. That makes it nice because I'm telling you, if you're under 50 and you're presenting, and I'm sitting there and I'm listening to you, I'm going to look. If I'm under 50, statistics are the high probability of them having Facebook profiles is huge. So they're going to be looking you up. They're going to be looking you up and trying to figure out who you are and what you're all about. And so if you make it very easy for them to find you, oh, missionary at Global Outreach Mission, that's what they just said. I'm going to follow them and get more involved in their ministry. That's pretty exciting. I just used mine for fun, but in my bio, it can say missiongo.org. You can just put that website in there. Or you could even do what Karen Lubbers did, and I have to say she's an A+ missionary because she did exactly what I'm recommending to you. So she has missionary at Global Outreach Mission, and then Facebook has recently put where you can actually have links under your bio page. So yes, this link works, and that's great. There's no right or wrong way to do it, but she added missiongo.org right there, so people can say, that's the mission she's with, I want to learn more about her, I can go on her webpage. I have a friend who's a missionary, and unfortunately, she hasn't seen the light and hasn't joined Global yet, but I'll be working on her. I was like, okay, I have some more money in December. I'm going to see if I can give to her. It took me about 30 minutes to even find what mission agency she was a part of and connected with. And by the time I found the website, by the time I found where I'm supposed to give, I was so exhausted and frustrated. Don't do that to your supporters. Make it easy for them and do a social media bio. All right, I'm going to fly through this one because Jesse touched on this yesterday, but advocacy campaign. So here's Sharon. She's here with us today. But if you hit raise money, he was talking about how you can, if it is approved, you can create your raise money. And then literally it's one click away from customized campaign, and then it's literally one other click away from personalized. And I counted them because I didn't want any excuses. There's 7 cells that you have to fill out. It'll take you 5 minutes, and if you need any help, you call our office and we can help set you up. But what's really fun, as Jesse pointed out yesterday, is it has that graph. So say you're trying to get $3,000, it'll show the percentage. So it is something that you need to keep in mind. It's pretty exciting. We do ask that you do not use GoFundMe. There's many reasons for that, but our policy is that all donations come through us. And so we want to make sure that we are able to issue tax-deductible and year-end receipts. So that's pretty important for us. Social media accounts. So this is just a simple one. We have creatively called our Facebook account Global Outreach Mission. So if you come and follow us, that would be amazing. We are able to feature you. So send me a quick email and say, I'd love to be featured on your website. And I can slip you in. We plan about a month in advance, so don't expect it the next day. But it's exciting. And if you have anything really exciting in your ministry, exciting stories, let us know. Sierra Leone, the Arnolds just reported they had 16 Muslim converts, and they were all baptized. They renounced their faith, and they took Christian names. That's exciting. We need to know about that. So that's the kind of thing that we would love to put on social media if it's acceptable with you, or that we can put on our prayerograms that we send out with receipts. So just keep that in mind. Just email me, let me know. I would love to be featured. Software programs, Dennis is going to cover all about that in the next session. It would be very helpful, again, for you to attend. But I will have to tell you, I'm so impressed with this program. It is going to be a huge benefit to you all once you're all on it. I know that the ones of you who are on it have said it's very helpful for you. And as a communications, right, I have to put this plug in. So you guys say that you have live access now to all the information, and when givers give, you know right away, so you can give them a thank you note. And I have to tell you that one cool feature that I love on there is that you can see a lifetime of giving. So say, somebody's been giving you $50 a month, and it adds up over 20 years. So just take 5 minutes and shoot them an email and say, I just want to thank you because all of your gifts have added up. And you've been such a tremendous asset to our family and our ministry over the years. And these are the current things that are going on in our missions. That will blow their minds. And you know what you're doing? If you haven't done it already, you're establishing loyalty. You're encouraging loyalty. So just know that 5 minutes is going to go a long way if you send an email thanking your donors. Ongoing relationships, I may be a tad biased that this is my favorite service that we provide to you, but I know that Brian really makes an effort to have a phenomenal prayer meeting every week. And we meet every Thursday for an hour, and we literally go around the table and we pray over you by name. And so if you have any prayer requests, we would love to hear them. It is such a meaningful time. Brian does a devotional, and then we all pray over you. B. Phillips is the one that creates the prayer list. If you have any prayer requests, send it to any of our staff and say, hey, can you please pray over this, especially on Thursday? And we will be happy to do that for you. Okay, so as a reminder, I have to cover just one final thing. I know this may sound so simple and so obvious, but we really request that you don't unsubscribe from GOM or Global Times. Sometimes you all will say, oh, I didn't get that email. And we're like, maybe that's because you accidentally unsubscribed a month ago. Okay? So we do not send a plethora of emails. When we do, it's usually very important. As Jesse said, some of our departmental leads need to send out some communications to you. For instance, about travel or retirement. We do contests. So we've had 2 successful contests in the past years, and that have helped us tremendously with our own promotions and promoting you all. So just make sure that you are receiving those emails, and if you ever notice that you're not getting them, please inform us as soon as possible so we can take care of that. You all are very familiar with your accountability email. You all get it towards the end of the month. This is just a quick reminder. But as a missionary, we give you tons of flexibility at GOM. And we really truly believe in the Holy Spirit being able to lead you and to guide you. And in return, we do have some expectations that we have. And one of those expectations is that we need to know what you're up to. And we are accountable to the Lord. We're accountable to the government, the IRA, the CRA. We actually have to go to do proper registration in federal and state agencies. So we have a lot that we have to do, and it's very helpful, again, with your churches and your donors when we know what's going on with you. So as a reminder, you have your monthly accountability report. Again, it's only a few questions. It's nothing too extensive. So hopefully it won't take you very long. If you have a prayer diary update, if you say that picture is hideous, look at my hair, I need to change it, please email B. Phillips and let us know, and we can always update that photo for you, except we're taking photos of you all this week, so that'll be exciting. Update your webpage, so say you do what I told you you should do, and kind of criticize yourself and critique yourself on your webpage and say, I'd like to add 4 buttons because I have some really great stuff. Then let us know on the Update Your Webpage link and tell us which ones you'd like to add. We are super happy to do that for you. And then again, we do your mailing list updates, we do your prayer cards, we send an annual report. And then this month you'll be getting a required email as well. It's called an annual missionary update form. For instance, if you had that baby and you forgot to tell us, that's where that's covered. So again, just want to reiterate with you, contact information. If you have a web question, it's at media@missiongo.org. HR question, HR Global Outreach Mission, and other questions, GOM at Global Outreach Mission. Greg, you want to come?
Well, thank you. Good morning. I know many of you, we haven't talked a whole lot. I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. I first joined the mission in 1996. I was a single missionary in India. And then a few years later, I met my wonderful wife, and we got married in 99. We're coming up to 20 years right now. I have a daughter, she's 18, my son is 14, and we live just 20 minutes down the road in St. Catharines. So when we were in India, God allowed us to open a ministry called King's College. It's a high school for young boys and girls to be discipled. I'd love to talk with you about that at another time. That's not what we're going to talk about right now. What do I do at Global? Things are changing a little bit. My title is Vice President Personnel. So I've been involved with people from the point of first contact through all the way to retirement. So now we're focusing a little bit more. We have a couple people. We've got Butch and we've got Peter going to be focusing on the recruiting. And I'm shifting over to be more focusing on the HR personnel and member care side. So that's going to be great for the mission because we got people focusing on these different areas, and that's going to be great. So my role is shifting a little bit. So this is this conference actually is a bit of a dividing line within our organization right now. We're kind of shifting right now. So I'm just picking up from Melissa. We sat down together. What are we going to talk about? We said, okay, you're going to take these ones. I'm going to take these ones. And so now I'm going on with part 2. Okay. I just wanted to pick up on, we've heard about the Raise Money campaign, but there's something you guys might not have known much about. It is Add to Prayer. Add to Prayer. What's that? Well, if you've got a page on our website, that button should be there. How could you potentially use that? Well, what would happen if I clicked on it? If I clicked on it, by the way, if I wanted to pray for the Robinsons, I could click on the Add to Prayer. It lets me fill this in, and then it's going to save it in my profile as a user, and it's going to send me email reminders to pray for the Robinsons. I can sign up to pray for daily, what day, weekly, monthly. I can sign up. They're going to hear about it. I'm going to get reminders. So what does that mean for you as a missionary? Potentially, you could do a campaign to get as many of your supporters signed up to be praying for you, who will get a regular email sent to them when they're supposed to be praying for you. If you believe the prayer works, let's work on this, right? And secondly, it's going to they're going to remember you and your ministry, and you're increasing your connections. So that's just a little tool you may want to work on. It's available to you. I'll be talking now about support raising coaching a little bit, travel services, short-term management, and just to let you know a little bit of what is available, because ultimately we're here to facilitate you to accomplish what God's calling you to do. So we are trying to provide services for you. Now, support raising. That's in the partnership development department. That's not technically personnel, and that's why I'm pitching it, because I want to pitch it for them. Okay, what do they do, and who are they? Butch is heading up that department, and we have got Keith Dodson, who's been working there for the last 5 years or so, and they do a great job coaching our new missionaries and our veteran missionaries on how to raise support and maintain their support. Now you might say, I've been doing this for 20 years. I'm fine. Well, Jim Stewart, I don't know exactly who Jim Stewart is, but I think there's some wisdom in his quote. To achieve a goal you've never achieved before, you need to start doing things you've never done before. So I don't know if you're satisfactorily supported or not. I don't know if God's giving you new visions for what He could do through you, but potentially you might be able to raise support better than you have been with the help of coaching. So let me show you 3 small examples of actual people who've raised support under coaching in Global Outreach Mission. This is from Ann Chow. She came in and did orientation in August 2017, and I'm not sure what was going on there for the first 4 or 5 months, whether she wasn't pushing or whether she was going in circles. I don't know. But she fully engaged with our coach in December 17, and it started to go up, went up and up, and now she's fully supported. She's based in Toronto, right? It's harder to raise support when you're based in North America, right? And let me tell you what Anne said. She said, I'd never had a support raising coach before joining Global. Now, after 20 years of financial struggle with other agencies, I'm finally near full support with more donors already signed up. Praise the Lord, she's above the green line. Okay? This is a very interesting one because it shows the different stages of engagement. We have this family, this couple, they start off, they're kind of hovering around the $1,000, and they probably say to themselves, you know, I probably should engage in some coaching. Let's do this casually. Casual coaching means you could just talk to our people whenever you need it, once every 2 months, some consulting. Well, that kind of helped for a little while. And then they seemed to come to a point where they said, you know what? We need to fully engage this coaching, in which they did in April 18, started to go up. They were recommended to go to a financial support raising boot camp, up their full support, and they're on the field. One more. This is from Jesse Mitchell. Those first 4 or 5 months, I happen to know a little bit. He was a bit spinning in circles. He was making a lot of connections with people, but it was not translating into support. He then started to fully engage with coaching, and it went up, and it went up, and he's on the field, and that's really exciting how far above the green line that is at this point. So coaching can be casual, but we do recommend it to be intensive. But you can just talk with our support raising coaches. They'd love to engage with you. And they've got some nice stories of working with veteran missionaries, helping them prepare for their home assignment. How can they maximize their time when they come home to get their ministry above the green line? Okay, so I want to encourage you, talk to Butch or Keith. Oh, Jesse's got a nice quote here too. I think I have really been going about this the wrong way. But I am learning, and I feel a passion and joy in the fundraising that I didn't before. I really feel on fire for fundraising like I didn't know I could. It is actually fun. Amen. Amen. Yes. Okay. So that's coaching, right? That's a service available to you. We don't charge you anything extra. That comes just with being part of the Global family as a missionary with Global. That's a service available to you, worth a lot. Okay, now travel services. You know that we've made ourselves available to help with booking sometimes. Many of you have chosen to book on your own, and that's also okay. We have recently engaged with a new organization. That's not a new organization, but we've recently engaged with them, Raptim, Raptim Humanitarian Travel. And we have with us this morning Pauline. So Pauline, could you stand up so they know who you are? Pauline Pankovic. And she has set up her booth just out here. And we are planning to do all of our short-term travels. We'll be going through Raptim. And you, as career missionaries, are very, very welcome to go through them as well. And I'm going to put up here in a moment why you might consider that. Before that, though, Pauline gave me these these lights that are solar powered and waterproof, and they float. And she thought we should probably give them to the people who most have electricity outages where they are. I don't know how to determine that, but who do you think? Oh, Brenda? Brenda, you okay, here we go, Brenda. You got one. You got lots of power outages over there. Anybody else? Karen, can you convince us why you need this?
I always have power outages.
Okay. Anybody else short of power? Need light? Robert, you live in Toronto. Okay, you can come and plead your case later. I might give it to you. Okay. Okay, so why would you consider going with Raptim? I mean, you can go online. We got Travelocity and Expedia, and you've got the travel agent down the road. Why would you think about going with Raptim? Okay, first of all, look in the title, humanitarian travel. They specialize in humanitarian travel, both faith-based and non-faith-based. On the faith-based side, isn't it nice to know that they understand how missionaries work? We have furloughs, we're raising support, we're working on budget. They understand us. They know we're not coming from a multinational company with an endless budget, right? So they understand the dynamics of our mission. So let's go some reasons why. They specialize in the humanitarian sector, and they have international experience, and they have missionary rates, okay? They are the largest travel agency, I believe, in the world that do humanitarian rates. So they negotiate deals with the airlines themselves directly. Because they are the largest of their kind, they will have the best humanitarian rates available. I will tell you, and they also will acknowledge, there are times when you might get a better deal not going humanitarian. If so, they'll tell you that. They're not going to force you to go humanitarian, but as a missionary, that is an option. The other option with humanitarian travel is often there's greater flexibility on those tickets, and you might get more luggage allowance. So humanitarian fares, missionary rates are definitely worth exploring with them. They have them at their disposal. They also are working in a team approach. There is one specific person who has been appointed to manage our people, but if she's sick, she's in the hospital, she's on vacation, she's off work for some reason, there's a team around her that picks up from her. It is 12 hours every day they're open, plus 24/7 emergency coverage. So we don't have to worry about them not being in the office. I need to get this flight booked. It's getting late. They're working in a team. So there will be an individual plus backup. I already mentioned the extended hours plus an emergency hotline 24/7. Now, they maintain a profile of each of us that we provide information in. We put in our passport info there. We might say how we prefer payment to happen. We can put in our frequent flyer numbers. I can even put in that profile that I prefer only aisle seats. So when it comes time to booking the flight, they check the profile and they put it all in. And they tell me they've had many times where they're ready to book the flight and they've caught, your passport's about to expire, or it is expired, and they'll let you know. So that's why it's nice to have the passport in there. And as many of you know, many times going somewhere, you have to have 6 months in your passport available in the back. So they know that kind of thing, and they're monitoring it with you as well. So they'll maintain the profile. It means every time you book a flight, you're not having to provide that new information. It's right in there in an encrypted, secure format. Duty of care. They are tracking. They know where you're flying. If there's been a disturbance, if there's been a strike, there's been political unrest, there's something happening, they are tracking their customers, and they will inform us if there is a problem that they can see coming forward. Some of you like to pay for the airline tickets yourselves because you like that flexibility. You might like to accrue some credit on your credit card or some miles or whatever. But sometimes you might have a larger family, or you might be a little bit short on cash flow. One of the advantages here is that you can directly charge your account at our mission through them. So you might say, look, just charge the mission, and before they actually book the ticket, they'll get it confirmed from Jesse, and then the mission will pay direct. So you don't always have to be stuck holding the bag for 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, whatever it is, right? So direct charge to the mission as well. This is the number, the contact info. If you'd like to make contact with our team, wepartner.na is the specific team that is supporting us. That's the phone number. And internally, we have Caitlin. You might have met Caitlin out here. She's our contact between Raptum and Global. If you need this information later, just let any of us know. We'll let you know. Okay? That's an option for you, and that's travel. Now, last one, short-term management. We have Rachel over here on the right side. She's a recruiting administrator. And on the left, we have Edith Hulkoop. She's our short-term logistics coordinator. Okay? Now, why do I put this up? Because none of you here are short-term. Some of you have had short-termers come and serve with you. You've had individuals, you've had teams. Some of you might like to do it in the future. Now, some of you have just coordinated to have people come on their own, but sometimes you've brought it through the mission. So I just want to let you know what we do inside and why you may consider having your short-termers come through the mission. Number one, experienced management. Edith has been on I don't know how many short-term trips herself. She's coached probably about 200 to 300 people through the short-term logistics process. She's very experienced. By having short-termers come through the mission, they can raise support. We will provide receipts accordingly. Each individual short-termer will get a campaign, just like you've seen this campaign thing, so they can. Oh, did I have a campaign? Yes, just like this. Kent and Annie, they just went out recently, short-termers. You can see you got the big thermometer across the top, and they can raise funds this way and share that link with all their people. So this is available if they do a short-term through us. Lastly, we will process the application process, and sometimes that finds out some really interesting information for you. You might just know that they're so-and-so's friend, and maybe you're a little awkward asking some deeper questions. Sometimes that isn't about whether they should go or should not go. Sometimes it's about, that's good to know because I was going to be asking them to do this, maybe I shouldn't, or maybe they need this amount of support. So application process is helpful. We have medical insurance we arrange for that is going to have emergency medical evacuation coverage. It's going to be satisfactory. And we help through the visa assistance process as well. And of course, we'll book the flights through Raptum. They're reputable. They help with changes. And there are some scary things out there, some fares on the internet that are incredibly restrictive. And if you don't look at the fine print, you might be getting really, really burned. Okay? So Raptum knows what they're doing. They're going to get us the maximum value for the money. They read the fine print themselves. So it would certainly be of value to go through here. So those are 3 services that I just covered. I'm just going to add one extra thing that, based on some conversations I had in the last couple days. You may have particular needs at different times. Maybe you have some counseling needs. Maybe you have some children who have counseling needs. Maybe you need some re-entry seminars. I would encourage you, if you're looking for something like that, please let me know. I am connected to other missions and other member care organizations. So I have been able to network for different families for different reasons. So even though we're not experts at everything internally, I can often connect you with other professionals that could help you. So I'd love to be able to do that for you. So just feel free to let me know. I'd love to get you connected. Good. So we have 5 minutes in case you have any questions for Melissa or myself about what we just, either I mentioned or what Melissa just mentioned. Any questions?